easy now. Hey y'all, welcome back to Seriously Stump'd. As you can tell, I'm super excited because I'm bringing you more Derette V1000 content today. But what's different about today's video is I'm gonna review for the first time on this channel the $2,170 mulcher. So you guys stick around while I tell you everything I know about this mulcher and see if it's worth you purchasing directly from Derette, especially now that Trump has those tariffs locked in for a year, so prices should stable out. Let's go. Before we get on the road, you got to give it that ain't going nowhere, because we got our Vevor safety chains on this side, and then on this side we have our magnetic trailer engaged. That way it'll lock that V1000 in place. Just got the V1000 over here to the job site, and this stuff right here is what I had planned to mulch with this mulcher. But it looks like the right-of-way guys, as you can tell the power lines above here, have beat me to it, and they have already done all the work, at least most of it, that I was gonna do, because I figured this would be the perfect place for me to just do like 5 or 6 passes up to these pines all the way down and be able to show you guys a little montage of this mulcher in action. But now, I don't know if I'm actually gonna do it, but I might take this fence all the way down because this is over at my buddy's place and he's pretty open to just, you know, getting rid of it, because it's not like it's containing any cattle or anything. But I think to start off, I'll just get as close as I can to the barbed wire, and let's knock on something that I don't actually hook the barbed wire fence on that mulcher and end up rolling it around the pin, because I really don't want to deal with that. But let's go ahead and unload it and see what we can get done real quick. I haven't pointed this out yet because it hasn't been cold enough, but when it is cold, you take your key and turn it to the left, let it preheat a little bit, hold on to that thing, get them glow plugs good to go. I think this thing has glow plugs. Anyways, after you do that, now you're ready to fire this thing up. We got it in place. My first pass, I'm pretty much just gonna try to hug this fence line and run all the way down through there. Some of this stuff is kind of thick. As you see, we got about 1 inch, 2 inch diameter pine trees. I'm probably not gonna be able to hit that cedar over there because it's a little too thick. But I know you guys aren't worried about that. You're more worried about this mulcher itself. As you can tell, I've never even rotated this, and this is going to be the first time I've ran it at all. But this one does and will be the first attachment that has all 3 hydraulic lines that have to be hooked up. As always, they're just the flat face connectors. Standard hookup with your pins. And then I have this pushover bar right here in the full pushover mode. So you got 3 different slots to where you can actually change the angle of the dangle, if you know what I mean. But that's just going to allow me to really be able to push things over before I mulch them up. Remember, safety first. I got my face shield on because this thing's going to be slinging debris all over the place. Well, that's pretty wicked. Let's zoom in on that. That thing's going so fast, it looks like it's not moving at all. All right, let's mulch some stuff up. Give you a better view and get after it. As you can tell, that thing is an absolute monster and is absolutely wrecking everything in its path. What I am gonna do though is I might give you guys a little different angle for this thicker tree over here. It's a little cedar, to see if it can burrow through that with ease. But so far so good. This thing is gonna clean this up even better than the right-of-way guys did. Let's go. There's my face shield. I'll have that linked for you guys if you want one. And then the other thing I want to point out is this rubber shield right here has been replaced. Greg with our Life in Trees, he had debris flying all over the place because this came off. So hopefully this reinforced rubber shield that they now put on the mulchers is better and it holds up longer. But this thing is eating anything, and here's the better view of it. And as you can tell, it's just disintegrating all that. It took all those pine trees out. Look at the thickness of these cedar trees that we're about to try to take on. The only thing is that fence is right in my way, and it's making me weary about getting too close to it, because as you can tell, it's all barbed wire, and that barbed wire will literally wreck this machine and all the bearing housings that I'm not trying to deal with on my brand new machine. Let it come back up to speed after you hit something hard. Back out. Here you go at it again. Oh, that is absolutely nuts that it's taking care. Oh, oh man. I don't know what I hit, but it threw dirt all in my face. I need to put on my BCGs, baby. Woohoo! That thing is a death machine. Do not get in the way of that thing once it's going. As you can see, it completely disintegrated that tree, and it shot dirt and debris all over my face. I really need to put on my BCGs. But as you can tell, once you engage it, or maybe you can't tell, but you got to have your throttle pretty much all the way up on this V1000. So I probably wouldn't be trying to run this mulcher on any of their smaller machines. I would pretty much not buy one if it was me, because it takes so much to be able to keep this thing operating once you get into some thicker stuff, that the likelihood of you bogging down the smaller machines is probably pretty high. But so far so good on this V1000. If there's one thing I've learned in making videos on YouTube, is if you want to tick people off, start a chainsaw without the brake engaged. But I'm going to use this Vevor top handle to take out the fence post right here. So hopefully I can hook up the chains to this barbed wire fence and get it out of the way. So let's see if this thing will do a little cold fire for us. We do have to give it a little bit though. Remember, safety first with chainsaws. Whatever you feel most comfortable with how you start your chainsaw is what you should do, because comfortability with a machine like this is what you need. If you're not comfortable without chaps, wear chaps. If you're not comfortable starting it without the brake engaged, don't start it with the brake disengaged. So it's truly up to you. For $100, you can't beat this saw. Got the chain hooked up to the front of the V1000. We're about to just back up and see how much of this barbed wire fence comes with us. All right, give it a little throttle. Grab your pilot handle, back on up. Uh-oh, we spinning a little bit, but it feels like it's coming. Something broke. The T-post popped right out. I got all the fence pretty much stacked up over here, so I should be able to take this mulcher, run through all the thick trees here, a couple 4x4 posts even, and then all the way down through here. I just got to take it slow, because the last thing I want to do, like I said, is run that barbed wire all around that mulcher. You can really hear the engine change cadence once it gets up to full rotation. All right, so before I run down the fence line, I want to remind you guys in case you haven't seen my other videos, I've done a whole unboxing video on this Derette V1000 where I talk about exactly how I got it off Alibaba directly from the manufacturer, which is Derette, and explain that whole process. Again, the machine itself is $9,300, and then you have to pay DDP shipping, which I would recommend. That way, all of the customs and clearance is handled on part of the seller, not the buyer. And then the mulcher itself is $2,170. So when you add that together, you could get this package with a standard bucket for a total of right around $12,000. And then you just pay DDP shipping and you can get it shipped directly to your house. You just got to go through the steps that I went through on my prior videos, and they'll be linked for you guys to go check those out. And as always, remember, if you're watching this video, because a lot of you guys watch this and you're not subscribed, please subscribe, because that's the best way to help us YouTubers out to where we can keep bringing content like this to your doorstep. And I'm closing in on 10,000 subscribers, which I'm really hoping I can get to by the end of the year. And with you guys' help, I definitely can. So having said that, let's get rid of this whole fence line and keep giving you our first thoughts on this Derette V1000 paired with the mulcher. Let's go. These trees right here are pretty thick. I really hope there's no barbed wire in there. Let's knock it out. Even with full throttle, sometimes you'll bite off more than you can chew. In those instances, your mulcher will bog down a little bit. Just don't be weary, back out, allow the mulcher to come up to full rotation, and then go at it again. Woo! I almost didn't have my face shield on. Here's another big tree. Let's push it over and mulcher down. This thing is a master of destruction. I'm gonna keep knocking this out and not keeping you guys around for that, but I'll show you some end clips and give you some thoughts after I put a couple hours on it. Let's go. All right, so don't mind the mess, because this is what happens when you live in the South and people like to throw all of their litter into your bushes as they drive down the road. But check out the marquee difference that we've done along this, what used to be a fence line, with this Derette V1000 and this mulcher. And here's what it looks like once you wear a little bit of the paint off. But these teeth right here, they're not razor sharp, but they're not far from it. And they are absolutely annihilating everything that's in its path. It's probably as good time as ever to show you that there's a grease fitting right here on this mulcher, and it runs through this tube down into our bearing housing, or not our bearing housing, our drum housing over here. And then on the opposite side, we have a grease fitting up here, and it goes through a similar tube down into the internals over here of the drum. And then somebody asked me in a previous video if you have to hold the hydraulic engage lever, and you do not. It has these slits right here to where you just go forward, slide it in, and it locks in place. All right, so I spent like an hour getting all of the barbed wire fence out, got it all stacked up right here. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm just hooking my chains right here to your tie down points on the front of the V1000, and it's working absolutely perfectly. Could not be any better. But we are about to put the mulcher all the way back to the test, figure out if we can get rid of all that in probably 20-30 minutes. And we've made it to the catastrophic failure countdown, because in 12 seconds you're going to see the largest mistake I've ever made on this V1000. Yes, the rubber tracks will loosen up over time, and yes, you will need to have your grease gun and socket set handy to tighten them up before this happens. Well, oh my goodness. I don't know if y'all got any of that on camera, but check out this disaster. Oh my goodness, I haven't walked over there and looked at this yet. I'm heartbroken that this just happened. I don't even know what words to use. I brought my grease gun because I saw that the track had a little extra flop than I wanted it to, but it was fine. And I just hope I'm going to be able to back my track out of the mulcher and hopefully it's not disintegrated, but I don't have high hopes. Oh my goodness. And I don't have any extra tracks. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I'm at a loss. Really don't know what to do here because I don't have any extra tracks. So Man, well, as I tell you guys, I'm always gonna be honest and open. This is really stupid of me to have done this, and to, I guess, I don't know how I would have been able to see that with stuff flying all over the place. I got these are fogging up, but I'm going to probably end the video now. I think the mulcher is a beast. You just got to check your track tension and try to not have catastrophic mistakes like this. I apologize for the dogs barking in the back. I got the track out of the mulcher, and it is toast. There will be no way to get that back on the machine. The mulcher still spins freely, so my final thoughts are on the mulcher that it is an absolute tank, and this was obviously on me. I don't blame this on the mini skid steer at all. I blame this on not checking the appropriate tension per the manual of my tracks, because these things are going to loosen up over time, and I'm out here driving back and forth snatching out all this barbed wire. I should have just been checking my tracks as we went, but I was just in the process of kind of making the video and, you know, trying to knock this out to where I can get on for the rest of my day. But can't blame the Chinese mini skid steer on this one. You just got to blame the operator. Please be cognizant of what you're doing out there. Spread some light in the world. As always, hopefully you guys learned something today. Hopefully you're no longer stumped. I definitely am stumped, but please stay safe and stay hydrated. God bless you all, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.